Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over how you can summarize your data using pandas. Now, I've done some basics in the past, so let's just run some of these cells here. As we run everything, we looked at how to view your data, how to create a sample, how to get the shape, get the info, perform a describe. We also looked at how to look at a subset of your data and all this, how to select a particular type of data. So just going to run through all of this. For today, our focus is going to be on how to summarize your data through different built-in methods. Now, a lot of the methods we're going to look at today can be used with a group by statement. I have a different video on how group by works. So, you could definitely take a look at those and, do what you have to do with that. But now we're just going to go over the basics, some basic methods. The first one we're going to look at is the unique method. Now, the unique method, what it does is it looks at a particular pandas series, which is essentially a column in a pandas data frame, and then looks at the unique occurrences, right? So in the species pandas series, which we have here, I can just copy it and run it above really quick so we can take a look at it. We have different names of iris flower species, right? So Setosa, Virginica, all this good stuff. The unique method goes through the entire pandas series and selects the unique occurrences. In this case, there are 3. Now, similar to that is nUnique. The difference is what it does is while unique gives you like an array of the actual values, nUnique just counts the occurrences. So that's what it does here. Something very similar but different is the value counts function. It operates on the pandas series, right? And with that value counts, it goes and says, okay, all the unique occurrences, how many times did they occur? All the unique occurrences, how many times did they occur? All the unique occurrences, how many times did they occur? So that's what it does. Great. So we've seen this ones, and we can go ahead and look at some other examples. So let me just create some new cells here. So for example, the max keyword, right? So let's just look at a sample of our data again. So this is just a rough sample. Now, if I wanted to get the max in a particular column, I could do something like this. df index the column, making a pandas series. Am I about to type this by myself? No, let me just copy it. Copy that, place it here. This gives us this value. So if we call the max function on this series, it gives us that the maximum value is 7.9. Also, we can take this and instead look at the minimum. That's what the minimum value is. That's 4.3. Okay. Let's look at this. How about if we wanted to know the average? Okay, this shows us the average value. What about the median? Okay, this shows us the median value. We can see that the average and the median are very close together. So already you can start to have a sense of what the distribution of this data will look like. We can look at that in other, videos that have to do with Plotly Express, because I have some videos on Plotly Express on this channel. What if we wanted to look at the standard deviation? So STD, funny abbreviation there. And this shows us that for the sepal length column, the standard deviation is actually this value. Great. So we can see that these are some examples. You have the maximum, minimum, mean, median, standard deviation. Now, these are some common values. How about count? If I want to count the occurrences, so we can go, say, the species column. So let me just do this, change this to, what's it called? Species, okay, with an S, plural. Great. Of course, if you call max on this, it's going to give you an error, but we can look at it. It's going to give an error because it is an object data type. Of course, we expected an error there. Great. Which is not what we're trying to show. We're trying to show the counts. My bad, I misspelled this. C. Okay, so count essentially just goes to a column and counts everything there, as the word says, count, right? So this is just some methods. Now, just bear in mind that all of these methods can actually be tacked on to a group by statement in a chain, and it would allow you to be able to carry out some form of aggregation. What if we decided to look at something like the sum, right? So the sum of the entire data frame or the sum of a column. Let's start with the column first. So we can use this same column, even though sum in this case doesn't really mean much because, you know, these are just measurements. But let's do it just so you know that it's possible. Okay, you see when you sum all that together, even though this really doesn't mean much to us, but, you know, we know that is possible. What if we wanted to do it across the entire data frame instead of just a series? This is what it does. You'd see that it conveniently excludes out the text data or the object data frame, or sorry, object column, which is a species column in this case, and just carries out the sum this way, right? So it looks at for each column, it does the sum. Now, what if we don't want it to perform? Let me show you what this is. df.head. It sums it vertically. So let's see what will happen if we say axis equals to index. So yeah, we've looked at what sum can do. We see that the sum function works this way. What if we just wanted to find the maximum? You'd see in this case, it just goes to each column, right? And gives you the maximum value. Okay, of course, this doesn't really mean much for the object column, so we're just going to ignore that. What if we wanted to look at the minimum? We see that it shows us the minimum value across each column. We could look at the average. For this, you have to specify numeric only, give it a value of true. And what it does is it goes and finds the average value for all the numbers. Okay, so we've looked at maximum, minimum, average. What if we want to look for the median? You can specify numeric only. And so it goes through each column and specifies that we want to calculate the median value. Now, this is how you can carry out some basic summary in your data sets using pandas. So before we leave, let's just go over a quick recap so we can have a good sense of what we just covered. So of course, we know we can get the summary, we can get a pandas series through the square brackets notation. We know the unique command that just gives us the unique occurrences in a specified pandas series. We know you can specify the n unique, and it looks at a pandas series and gives you the number of unique occurrences there. You can look at the value counts, does the same thing, goes to each unique occurrence and counts how many times it exists. We know the max keyword, mean, median, standard deviation, counts. They all occur on pandas series, even the sum as well. We can also carry out the sum across the entire data frame, and it just goes and looks for the sum. Although in this case for the text, it doesn't really mean much, but we just know that when it comes to objects data types, it carries out a sort of concatenation, so that's fine. But for the numeric type of columns, it of course adds them together. We look at the maximum. We're going to ignore this. Of course, there are things we can set in the max keyword as well to make it numeric only as well. So let's just say numeric true. So that way we don't have the text there. We can look at the minimum, the average, the median. And these are just some examples of functions that allow you to perform summarization of data using pandas. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.